Ladies and gentlemen, I am the Dark Horse, John Bonhart, and this is the Sit Down Marks podcast.
That's the difference between you and me. You talk about it, I do it.
Sit down, Marks!
Let me talk to you. Acknowledge me.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Come on in, sit down, Marks, because it's time for another episode of the Sit Down Marks podcast. Episode number 188 of the Sit Down Marks podcast. We're excited to get this one going because we're going to be talking about our favorites right now. Who is our top three of who we think in wrestling right now? Who's making us tune in? Who's making us watch? All that kind of stuff, man. We're going to be talking about them. But let's bring in the boys. First off, over in the East Coast, you know him, the host with the most, Big Daddy Dillio Primo. What's going on, brother?
What is up? Not a whole lot, man. Happy that we are back with another flagship episode.
Flagshipper.
Yeah, I mean, are you so excited you got yourself choked up?
For sure. All right, and front row sit straight in with that green hat as always. I just seen him a new hat here today because he's going to be wearing something here in the future saying Dreamwave Prelude on it. But joining us as always, Dylan. What's going on, brother? You vibing and thriving over there?
You know it. There would be no other way to do it. Let's go. We are finally back. I feel like the whole world of wrestling has changed since last time we had a flagship show. Do you guys send a quick sad note, a quick shout out. Rest in peace, my boy Gingerbread. It was a good run.
Fuck him.
I miss you,
That's
Gingy.
just stupid, man. That's just dumb. Sorry.
A lot of front rows together at indie shows. Yeah, it was.
How could you, DB? That's rude, man.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah. Practicing and blocking out the haters. I'm just going to ignore DB over here.
Yeah.
There you go. You should
Make
do
sure
that,
that
man.
fucker's in the casket
Sorry for your
so we don't
loss,
have to see
Dylan.
him again.
Yeah, thank you, Primo. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Let's jump into it, boys. Lots to talk about. Hot start time, Primo, as we know how. Here we go. 5 topics in the world of pro wrestling. 5. Five time. Let's kick it off, man. Let's talk about a little WWE Backlash, as Danhausen says it. He finally made me laugh, boys.
Good.
It was some of this stuff was funny this weekend, but man, that backlash, from the 2008 promo where everybody's saying backlash and
Backlash.
inserting himself in there.
I've watched that so many times.
It's so funny, man. It's so funny, and it's one of the things that it'll just like get you every time, and just make you laugh, man. It's funny as hell. But Backlash, the always pay-per-view right after WrestleMania. So
Thank goodness they don't call it WrestleMania Backlash anymore.
yeah,
Right?
Yeah, shorten things up in Tampa, but they did this again where they put the first hour on TV, so we got to watch Trick and Sammy. I'll be honest with you, I don't have the ESPN Unlimited, you know what I mean? I go back and search out each match and watch it, but this is cool. Like, I like that. I was like, hell yeah, man. Like, I love Trick. So, being able to basically watch him on ESPN is pretty cool, but he did get the win, defeated Sami Zayn and held the U.S. title, but that U.S. title looks good on him, man. But, really happy about that. I think this may be more about Sammy really than Trick, kind of, you know what I mean? Because Sammy's he's looking a little defeated. He kind of looks like he might need to go in another direction, and they kind of like got this storyline for that direction. But you guys watch the kickoff on ESPN, of course.
Yeah, I watched it all on the app later. I didn't watch it live. I learned my lesson from WrestleMania. If you don't watch it live, you can skip through commercials. So I watched it in like an hour and a half instead of 3 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I do. Like, it's really cool that they're doing that. Like, I like that that partnership, that's a good use of that partnership, getting that first hour on ESPN, getting Seth and Braun on ESPN, getting some of your big names out there. I wonder if this is just a like springtime, early summertime thing when there's nothing on TV, and if that will continue come the fall.
Yeah, or because or because the app is new too. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you know, trying to run people over to it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
But you know, but I like this, and I like seeing Seth and Braun. To be quite honest with you, these were the two I was the most pumped to watch.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was like, hell yeah, I'm getting those on ESPN. You know, I thought Seth and Braun was good. What'd you think about that match, Primo?
So first off, when you watch this across the pond like I do, you know, I go to the UK for every pay-per-view.
Air miles, man.
And I didn't realize the first hour was free because I watched the entire thing on Netflix. So
there you go.
I didn't know until after the Danhausen segment or match, excuse me, that when Michael Cole was like, "Oh, and that was the first hour on ESPN. Now we're gonna go to Backlash," whatever he did. I was like, "Oh, okay." So that means the main show only has 3 matches. And because in my mind, you know, so I watch a lot of UFC. I think of early prelims, and main card. Yeah. So for me, it's like very prelim and main card, but whatever. So it's like these 3 matches were the actual pay-per-view, PLE. So anyway, if you don't from my standpoint, but I can see what they're doing with the first hour free. It's to draw on consumers and all that jazz. But the Braun Breaker Seth Rollins match, bullshit. Could be pretty much how I would sum that up.
Okay, so. Well, I was saying, give me shit about Gingerbread Man, but Braun can't go over Seth here. Like, what do we do? Fair though, fair play.
I mean, man, just I got look. Braun is talented as all get out, and he is going to have all the accolades by the end of his career. But Seth's career ain't over. He's still a goat. Why is he got to lose this chump? You know what I mean? Like, whatever.
Chump.
Why has he got to lose to the kid? I should say. Anyway, because losing would not have hurt Braun, I don't think. And Seth is too good to lose to somebody like Braun right now. Anyway,
I disagree.
I do also. Yeah,
I can't wait for this story to be over and for Seth to move on to greater things.
I mean, I hope it's Roman. That's the only one I'm wanting him to go to.
Yeah. And the Danhausen match with Kit Williams and Miz. First off, we thought the this was the Minihausen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Minihausen comes out.
The mystery partner.
Me and my brother are watching it, and as they get closer back to the box, I tell my brother, "Oh, he's gonna throw him into the box, and sure, it's gonna turn back on or something, and a giant Hausen's gonna come out." Like I just thought for sure, like a big, like an Obafemi size house.
Yeah, like Great Khali.
You know? Yeah. Instead, it was a lot of freaking little mini houses. That was it. It got a big pop out of me and my brother. But no, it was entertaining. I like it. I like all the Danhausen stuff. So that's easy for me.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I was just confident that it was going to be Jelly Roll. So when it wasn't Jelly Roll, I was so excited.
Yeah.
Like people were throwing out like CM Punk and Obafemi and like people like that. I was like, they're not going to bring on their top stars and put them in Danhausen paint for a one-off. You know, like that's what's missing Kit Wilson. Like that's not going to happen. But I just knew it was going to be Jelly Roll or Gronk or somebody big in Tampa.
Yeah. So
when it wasn't that, I was really happy. Yeah, I enjoyed the whole thing. Glad Kit Wilson's on pay-per-view. We love to see it. Seth and Braun. I loved it. This was for me. This may not have been for DB, but this was for me.
It wasn't. It was. I didn't saw it out. I don't even know. I mean, I saw the clips of the mini Hausens, but I didn't.
I don't know. I believe this is true. I read it online. I'm pretty sure it's accurate. The mini Hausen, exactly. It came from Twitter. The like the main mini Hausen, not one of the 7 that ran out after the fact, but the main one was El Torito.
Correct.
Yeah.
So like that's really cool. I enjoyed it. I don't know if I need mini Hausens on every pay-per-view, but right now I'm enjoying it. I thought the Seth Braun was a really hot match to back up to it. If Seth was losing to Austin Theory, I would understand Primo's argument. But with it being Braun, I think it's fine. Braun just came back too. Braun needs a little bit. But, yeah, Seth can't lose forever. He'll get that big win eventually here.
I was going to say, he just lost to Gunther, too.
Right.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
But, it is what it is.
Anybody can afford to lose, it's Seth. Honestly,
Seth,
He's built enough equity.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I think he's fine.
Yeah. And then the last 2 matches also, I know we haven't really got to those yet, but I thought Asuka and Io was great, and I loved Roman and Jacob. I thought it was a really good show.
And so Io, did a little goodbye on Monday Night Raw. Asuka did a little goodbye talking to Io on Monday Night Raw. So either she's going to take a break for a little while, maybe she is retiring. As I've read some people say, but I also read that this might be a repackage, for something else. So that's what I'm voting for, honestly.
Yeah. Well, Michael Cole on Raw had the great, the great detail, all the great information that officially her status is up in the air. I was like, okay, so that we knew that. They didn't tell us, they didn't tell us anything. It's like officially
news there, right?
We have no idea what's going on. Like, okay, great. Thanks, Michael. I'm glad. But she could retire. I mean, like, I'd believe that, but I'd hope it's just some time off and she comes back. Maybe something more like the old Asuka, not what they've been doing the last year or so. But I hope it's not it. But it's kind of like Brock. I hope it's not it, but if it was a great way to go out.
I mean, if she's retiring, they need to feed her to Gunther first, right?
That would be sick.
That's how we do it,
I'd watch that all day.
I can look at this card. I mean, I looked at it before I even watched Backlash, and you can look at these 5 matches. Which, after coming off of an AEW PLE, even an AEW Dynamite last week, and then a fucking WWE PLE is 5 whole matches. It's crazy. And the main card's 3 matches. But looking at this poster alone, you could tell that Io Asuka is going to be the best match of the night, and it was. It was a freaking banger. They went out there and showed out and did their thing. And I agree with you, DB, about Trick and Sammy. Trick is already made like U.S. champion at this point. This is more about Sammy's story and him turning more and more.
Slowly, and I like it. Yeah.
It's a slow burn for sure. But the main event, boys, Roman Reigns, Jacob Fatu. I mean, I like this match, man. But I like, and I've always kind of been like this. Like, I hate like when the first like matchup between somebody, A wrestler, beats B wrestler, and then B wrestler ends up attacking, holding the belt up over A wrestler. You know what I mean? At the end of to go home on the pay-per-views, you know what I mean? So, like, I just didn't think that was necessary. Like, he could have just attacked him and done something brutal, after the match or whatever. But yeah, I was just kind of like, all right, well, that was a little predictable. I mean, of course, Roman ain't losing, especially not this quick. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's the thing to me is we had like 3 weeks to build this up, and it's Roman and Fatu, and it should be a really big deal. And at least they used Raw and SmackDown, so they got a bunch into the build.
Well, one of them.
Okay, yes, you're right.
Where was Fatu slobbering all over the place? Was that Backlash, or was that on Raw last night?
I don't remember.
I guess I missed that part.
How that dude was slobbering everywhere.
Normally I'd agree with you, DB, about the whoever lost, that same night attacking him and holding the belt. Mm-hmm. Like, what did we even accomplish here?
Right.
With Fatu, I give him a pass because for so long, like their story on Fatu was that he hasn't been here because he's dangerous and unpredictable, and he was too dangerous to be in WWE. So I kind of like the him just attacking everybody and laying out Roman and the Usos. And even though he lost the match, there was the ref got hit. He didn't take a full bump, but he was a little slow getting to a count there. Like, if they're going to say he's this unhinged, unpredictable, crazy, dangerous guy, he needs to be a insane, unpredictable, crazy, dangerous guy. Not just showing up.
I'm fine with that, but you don't need to hold the belt up like just whoop ass and leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I just hate that, like, standing over him. The picture we go home on. You know what I mean? So, but
I don't know if I talked about this. If we've talked about this on the last episode, I don't know if this match was announced yet. But I never cared for this match. I
felt rushed. It just felt rushed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I would have eventually been ready for Jacob and Roman, but not right now. I don't care to see it right now.
They had to do something. I don't know, if we want to go big, broad picture, having a pay-per-view 3 weeks after WrestleMania, that's the fault. Because they had to do something. They had to either put a Roman match or a Cody match, and Cody got kicked in the head. And now he's got to.
Where's Punk?
Now he's on vacation. Punk and Randy and Drew and LA Knight and like half the top guys are on vacation. So
we could have had a
throw a Danhausen match. Got to throw a main event, Roman or Cody. Cody's got his sore Peter syndrome going on. He's over there with Gunter. So it had to be something. So throw Roman and Fatu out here, and
it's just I didn't. Yeah, I mean I haven't been invested in this at all. The whole sacred choke, whatever they're doing.
Tongan death grip.
The Tongan death grip, yes. Where they choke out grabbing my Adam's apple.
It's between the fingers.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
did that forever.
I mean, just fine, but
one of those real
a little bit more believable.
Yeah, it's one of those real suspension of belief moves for sure.
Yeah. So I'm not. I just didn't feel it. I wasn't, and I honestly thought the match was okay.
Yeah,
like I didn't care a lot. And actually, speaking of, if we're talking about actual matches, I thought this, as much as I love Seth Rollins, I thought the Seth and Braun match was kind of clunky, but whatever.
Yeah. All right, last thing for this pay-per-view, boys. They just won't let him go away. John Cena comes back out and announces the John Cena Classic. So this means he's not going away. Yeah, it's very confusing. I was going to say, I don't know if I even really understand what's going on, but, somehow the fans are going to be voting on.
It's like Cyber Sunday all over again.
Yeah, stays and goes.
The way I took it, and I would not put a whole lot of value in this. This is me deciphering John Cena speak. It's the John Cena Classic, but like it's not a tournament. It's like a one-night show, like the Saturday night's main event, where they had like the NXT people versus like the main roster people. And those matches are going to happen, in and of themselves. And then like at the end of the night, the fans are going to choose like a champion or something.
The John Cena Classic champion.
So it won't be like, DB versus Primo and the winner's the John Cena Classic champion.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
It'll
fans
be like,
can vote.
the fans picked, Obafemi to be this year's John Cena Classic champion.
And they don't even have to win.
Yeah. Right.
Like they don't have to win their match.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
But they didn't say when this is going to be, so hopefully they'll explain it a lot better in the build-up, But yeah, I don't know. And hopefully the title is just a one-night title, like their like Crown Jewel title or whatever. Like I don't need to see a John Cena Classic title being defended on SmackDown.
Give them that diamond ring or whatever it is MJF has.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, boys, let's move on. Next up, topic number 2. We haven't had a chance to talk about this because we haven't been live on here, but real quick, Darby's your new AEW champion. Primo, you were at Dynamite last week. Darby was champ. Dylan, you were at Collision last week. Darby's was champ then. So how are we liking Darby as champ, Primo?
Oh, great. I mean, I'm a big fan. I saw Darby versus Brody King live, so that was sick.
Mm-hmm.
Also, your boy was on TV for a whole second, but that's beside the point. We'll just leave that gimmick out for now. But no, I for however long this lasts, I do like that he's defending it like every week, and he's not changing at all. And he went hard against Brody, and then he would also. I saw he did the fairway thing with Pac, and
that was sick.
Yeah, so he's just
were they wrestle on the golf course thing?
Yeah, it's just an adventure every week.
That's wild.
Yeah, for the reasons Primo just said, I have enjoyed it a lot better than I thought I would. I remember saying on the podcast like the week before it happened, like, Tony, please don't change this title WrestleMania week just to get people talking. And sure enough, he did. But I've enjoyed it. I still don't think there's a long future of it. But putting it on the line every week, he's got Takeshita this week. Like, I'm fine with that. Like, as long as it lasts, it's fun. Sounds like we might be getting MJF's hair on the line on the pay-per-view.
Right.
I'm as much as I love, the gingerbread guy, I'm also an old school sucker for an old school hair match. So give me that. And, Primo got to see Darby and Okada and Edge and Christian and, all these cool people. And I got to see Jungle Boy and Grand Metalik. So, yeah.
Hey, that's dope, man. We have me and my brother have a joke, actually, about Roosh, because Roosh is Dragon Lee's brother. So every time we see him, I go, like, I took a picture of him when I was at Dynamite. I was like, it's Dragon Lee's brother, instead of being Roosh. Also, I forgot to mention on Cheap Pops the other day when I did that. Cheap Pops was a recap of my experience at AEW, but I forgot to say something I really wanted to say, which was I've now seen Edge, Cope, and both AEW and WWE post return.
Oh, since the comeback.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I have too. Yeah.
Yeah,
you're right.
Nice.
It's cool. Yeah. I hadn't thought about that, but yeah.
Topic number 3, boys. It's that season. Let's look at this list real quick. WWE releases as of, I think this is probably pretty much up to date. Just some notables: Kairi Sane, Aleister Black, Zelina, Uncle Howdy, basically all those guys. Bo Dallas, Nikki, Santos Escobar. Not surprised by that one. Haven't seen him too much. Motor City Machine Guns, man. Like, I feel like they got to be thinking, oh man. Dexter Lumis, Apollo again. That guy's been released so many times. Andre Chase. I'm hoping to see a lot of these guys on the indies. Zoe Stark, she's kind of become injury prone. Alba Fire. The rest of them were kind of some lower roster, guys, but looking at this list, man, like, who do you think can make it on the indies? Who do you think can who do you think can make it like in a different company?
I mean, I'd say most of these people worked elsewhere first. But also, man, in Motor City Machine Guns, they weren't even around. It didn't feel like they were around that long as far as WWE. They got one championship reign, and
remember they were at the Rumble.
Like
one of the matches on the Rumble.
The thing with that, like, they got their title reign like immediately. It was like
they won it
a week or two after they were debuted, and like never got out of that box. Like, they had their title run and then lost the title and then became background players.
I was also really excited to see Santos Escobar back because he had just returned to AAA, and then he got released. Also, obviously, everybody's sad about Kyrie, but no. At least everybody in the top half of that list has been elsewhere. So,
number one out of that, I want Andre Chase on the indies so bad. Like, I mean, he was before,
like Alba Fire, she'll bounce right back.
Yeah. She'll always do great in the UK. I'd like to see Joe Gacy come back on the indies too.
The big thing that jumped out to me off the list of names we have on the screen here is how many of these names have already been released once and got brought back and are now released again, like a Dexter Lumis, Aleister Black. We've seen him pop up in AEW before. He can go right back there. And Andrade's had like his best success after going, WWE, AEW, WWE, back to AEW. So it's not like you can just completely write off Aleister Black. That whole like devil on the shoulder gimmick, like Killer Cross and Scarlett was doing it, and then Aleister Black and Zelina was doing it. That's the new Baby Blues. You gotta just cut that out of here. We gotta quit this around with that.
Stop doing that.
The names that really stand out are not on this list. They came like a week later though. That's the New Day. That's Kofi and Woods and throw Jeff Cobb and but like Cobb didn't do anything. They brought Cobb in, stuck him in the solos group, and he did nothing. But Woods and Kofi, they're going to have a lot of options, and they're going to make a lot of money wherever they go, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I think they're probably going to be the ones that everybody's just going to kind of be like, come on over here if you want to. You know what I mean?
Actually, like they're, made legends at this point.
Yeah, I don't care to see him in AEW, but I would care to see him in TNA.
Yeah.
I think the way I thought about it, TNA, like their ceiling is probably, or they probably have more room to do different stuff. Like I think if they go to AEW, they're going to be in a tag team, and they're going to put on great matches with the Bucks and maybe Edge and Christian and FTR, and that's going to be sick. And if they go to TNA, they're going to have great matches with the Hardys. But I could definitely see either one of them, if not both of them, getting like an actual reign with the world title, or like Kofi as world champ in a Woods as the X champ, or something like that. Have Consequences Creed come back and win that X Division title. And same anniversary is in Boston, and that's like Kofi's area there. I don't know what their non-compete looks like with it being like that. Their contract was up, or they mutually, or however they phrased it, but like that, same anniversary in a month or two, Kofi could pop up there. That'd be fun.
Right. Yeah, agreed.
Topic number 4. So you guys had a chance to check out NWA on Comet yet? I don't know. I'm talking about it because they're doing really well numbers, and they're doing really well because Comet, it is a channel that you can pick it up with like an antenna. You know what I mean? At your house, an old school, like it's
Grit TV.
Grit TV. Yes. So this is hitting a lot of old school. I was reading up on this. This was hitting a lot of old school family households, and going off the NWA name, they're talking about like, whoever the old head is in the house probably knows what NWA is. You know what I mean? And so, I checked it out. Point. I think I'm pretty sure Valor and Grayson were on the very first match that was on Comet, which was cool. I think it was like a 4-way tag team match. I've since seen like kind of like what Billy Corgan's like trying to do with this model, and that's what he's trying to do is like tap in back into the old households, the people that aren't like paying for. Now you get comments on my YouTube TV. I think they got apps and stuff too. You can pick it up in other ways, but their primary source in beginnings was like in an antenna TV. And, so, I mean, I just want to say shout out to Billy for, I'm loving the old school way of thinking, you know what I mean? And going, like you would think it's kind of crazy. I mean, he doesn't really have anything to lose, a WWE like, or an AEW, if they went to like a small channel like that, they'd probably like cut out matches from like Collision and show them on there, you know what I mean, something like that. So but me being an old NWA fan, like I'm really loving it and just really loving the idea of this. And you guys said you hadn't watched it, so let's do that. All right, appreciate it.
Roger that.
All right, boys, topic number 5. This one's going to be a little bit of a sad one, man. We're going to talk about Ted Turner here for a minute. Now, he just passed away. I think it was last week. But Ted, man, he started the Monday Night Wars. There wouldn't be a Monday Night War if Ted Turner hadn't have bought WCW and put them on the same night as as WWF at the time. And I feel like the wrestling business owes a lot of Ted, because look at all the great wrestling we got out of just there being a competition, there being like you know what I mean, like so Ted Turner, he's was based out of Atlanta, right? And like I'm very familiar with Ted. I heard a lot of bad stories about him growing up, but I heard more good stories than I did in bad one. You know what I mean? And like he did a lot of cool things for a lot of people, and the stories that I felt like that come out about him, and this and that, as the older people in my family used to tell me, most of the people that get rich being millionaires, they don't do it being nice, or they don't do it by taking, no for an answer, and he was just like one of those kind of guys, but he was so forward thinking, innovative, I liked him because I grew up watching the Braves, you know what I mean? And he bought the Braves, and all of a sudden we're a contender. I'm like, yeah, love this guy. I ate at Ted's Montana Grill, before, you know what I mean? And, his, I'm, being from the South and a lot of my sports-based teams are around the Atlanta area. You know what I mean? I just, like Ted was, he had a lot to, his fingerprint was always on, on Atlanta. And, and I think he doesn't get as much credit he deserves. I think we all, when we look back in the Monday Night Wars, go, yeah, man, it was WCW, you know what I mean, versus WWF. And it was, but, most people are like, oh, man, that was Bischoff versus,
right.
You know what I mean? But
nah,
Ted puts Bischoff in this spot because Bischoff's one of those kind of guys that don't take no for an answer. And, he wanted to compete, he wanted to, you know what I mean? And I want to say one last thing with turning over you guys, man. A lot of WCW came out of Ted's own pocket. They were in the red. They lost a lot of money on, for a long time. And, his higher brass and people, this wrestling thing, man, like, it's draining us. It's taking a lot of money, and Ted's like, no, keep it going, so, just want to thank Ted for everything that he did for wrestling, for, life in general in Georgia. And, and I just think that, we need to appreciate him more, I guess, moving forward.
Yeah, you mentioned something just now about him coming out of his own pocket, and something that Bischoff used to say was he got Ted to open up the checkbook.
Yes,
and he got all those freaking stars to come over from WWF at the time to get those big contracts.
Yeah,
with all that money,
you
know what I mean? So that was a big thing. That's what started all that's what kind of kicked off those Monday Night Wars, was that star power and people leaving WWF. The flip, the crossing the line, I guess is the right term. But no, it was definitely pivotal. And the things that have come from that, from him helping to elevate WCW to what it became, left such an impression that has helped spawn and inspire things such as like TNA and AEW. Those things you can put direct correlations to WCW.
Right.
So yeah, no, he definitely had a role in wrestling for sure.
Yeah, he's how you want your like billionaire owner to be if you're a wrestling fan, because he brought Bischoff in and let Bischoff run it. And they had people before Bischoff and they didn't do that hot, and he finally found Bischoff, and it wasn't until, like you said, he'd be like 95, 96, something like that actually made a profit. Every year up until then, they had been in the negative, which when you think about it is just crazy. He let Bischoff run it. He didn't put himself on TV. We didn't have, the Nitro general manager, Ted Turner, wrestling Hogan or nothing like that. He stayed out of the spotlight, let the wrestlers do their stuff, fought to keep wrestling on his channels. And it was after the merger, after he kind of, lost his company, that's when WCW took their big downfall. So, yeah, 100%, Ted Turner and Bobby Cox in the span of like a week. Like, hug your Atlanta friends. That's two big losses. But, yeah, legend.
This is a cool picture too from, I think it was like not long after Ted created CNN. This was like a shot from like the CNN room. So I thought that was pretty cool. So, all right, that's going to do it for the hot start. But before we get moving here, it's time for the city shout out. Drum roll, please. Today's city shout out is one that's been in the top 20 cities ever since almost day one, since me and Primo started this thing. Shout out to Springfield, Massachusetts.
Let's go.
Let's go. Thank you guys so much for downloading and supporting the podcast. Now, this is the birthplace of basketball. I know, about Springfield, Massachusetts. But what I didn't know, Dylan, this is home to the nation's first armory. If we don't have armories, we don't have any wrestling, man.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
That's a jump, but yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean?
That makes a whole lot of sense. So I don't brag about it, but I have a history degree, so I definitely know all about this history stuff.
Sure,
definitely, totally.
Sure.
Didn't BS my way through college or nothing. But yeah, that Northeast, that New England, that would make sense.
Yeah.
To be the first armory. That's really cool. I didn't know that. That's a fun fact.
Yeah. So
you learn something here on the Sit Down Marks podcast.
You do.
How about that?
You do. I choose a city. I go dive and get a couple little facts from them. To make sure I talk about it. I know. What was the Cheshire, Connecticut? They were famous for having like flower beds or something like that. So, I always like to dig up a little something, a little something on them. So, a little tie to indie wrestling in Springfield, Massachusetts, because, one of the first indie shows, I went to with my dad, Armories, man. Armory. Perfect place for them.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Springfield, Mass.
Yes. Thank you.
Shout out Springfield.
Shout out Springfield. All right. Let's move on, boys. It's time for the dropkick discussion. But before we do, let's hear a word from the good old boy, Slammer.
Yo, this is Slammer, and you're listening to Primo, DB, and AJ at the Sit Down Marks. And what you gonna do when Slammer Mania runs wild on you, brother?
Yeah. Shout out to Slammer.
I love Slammer.
All right, so drop kick discussion time, man. We tied it, I was kind of like, hey, we haven't like circled back to our favorites, right? Like, who's our favorites and who we liking right now. And to keep this conversation short, right? Because we could always say, hey, I thought about this guy or I thought about this girl. I made the boys pick a hard 3 here. A 3, especially I knew this is going to be hard for Dylan because he has like 300. But was going to make him choose 3. I'm interested to see who the 3 end up being. I'm interested to see who's not on the list. And so, yeah, just kind of want to circle back and, see who we feeling right now. Cause, we were like, yeah, we like this guy. We like that guy, but, not always favorites. So we're going to talk hard 3 favorites right here on episode 188. Thank you guys so much for listening on all those podcast platforms out there. And thank you so much for watching right now on sitdownmarks.com. All right, boys. Anybody want to volunteer to go first? We're going to talk about now. This can be your top 3. They can just be 3, but we're going to explain why we like them so much and why we want to tune in to watch them. So Primo sounds like he's ready to go, man. So let's go ahead and let Primo.
Mine are going to be the most generic and basic of wrestling fans. So,
okay.
My first 2 are paired together. Last one's different. You'll see why. But my first 2 are this generation's. Now, this might be controversial to say, but in my opinion, this generation's long-term rivalry that could be equated to like Rock Austin.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Roman Rollins.
Fair.
Now, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins are my top 2 favorites. I've said it many times. Their storyline of brotherhood and everything that they've done in WWE over the past decade is one of the greatest things. Like their storyline alone is one of the greatest things forever to me anyway. I love it. These guys are Roman's at the top of the industry. He's he went from being hated because he was being shoved down our throat, eating dog food,
food out of Philly
with his baby blue eyes and he went off TV after he did the cancer announcement and came back, and he was still a babyface for a little while there. But when he came back after beating leukemia and all that, and during COVID, he carried COVID with the whole bloodline storyline and elevated the WWE to heights that it obviously wasn't at in previous years, like in the few years before that. So he's been great for WWE. I love what he's doing. Like, I love that he is, you could tell, like, to everybody else, to him, he seems like the boss character, like the mob boss, mafia boss, whatever you want to call him. Like when he tells Punk, like, or even Jacob, when he tells him, who do you think gave him clearance to let you come here?
Right. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. As far as Rollins, he has been the workhorse for the past what were we in? He's been the last 11, 12 years. He's been the workhorse
over
of the
a
WWE.
decade.
Yeah. So, and he's definitely my number one. Over out of those two, he's my number one. I get mad when he loses. I want to see him every time I get
up on that.
Yeah, I want to see him. I do get excited when I see him on TV wrestling. I know he's going to put on a show. I will admit the match against Braun was kind of clunky, but that's abnormal for Seth. And no, I'm just a big fan of Seth Rollins. He's great. Like I said, workhorse, storyline, everything he's done. Monday Night Messiah, architect, visionary, revolutionary, Seth freaking Rollins, all the above. Those are my top two. My third guy, and now this guy is somebody who I picked up in the past, I want to say year or so. I've known of him for a while, but I've really tuned into him over the past year. And that's pre-injury and then return from injury, and that's Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
I really like his style. I mean, I'm pretty easy to read. I like flashy stuff.
He's top 3 in the world, brother.
He's excellent.
Yeah.
He is fantastic.
Yeah.
I love watching him. I don't think he knows how to put on a bad match.
Yeah.
And it's just that simple. He's drawn me in from every time. I used to watch him, like, even before I would have said he was like one of my favorites. If he came on, I would have been like, oh, I'll make sure to watch that one,
Mm-hmm.
But definitely I make sure to tune into Will Ospreay match, and that's why he's in my top 3 right now.
All right, Dylan, you're up, man. Let's hear him. Are we going 1 to 3 or just 3 in general?
I'm looking at a list of 15, and I've been told I can't do that.
No.
So I've really struggled with this. I debated going like 3 indie people, like taking indies out of it and going just people on TV or what.
Sure.
I'm just going to throw 3 out there. They're not ranked 1 to 3. That's too hard. My number 3, I'm going to go CM Punk. And that has a lot to do with like the length of his career, right?
Yeah.
Like, been a fan of him for a long time. If he's in like my top favorites of all time, I got to mention him as one of my top favorites now. He's still, after all these years, has a way of cutting a promo where you go, oh, shoot, he wasn't supposed to say that, and he just did. Or like, in the feud with Roman, different stuff he's done with Triple H, different stuff he's done with Vince in the past. It's like, oh, man, he wasn't supposed to say that. And, after this long, if he was actually saying stuff he wasn't supposed to say constantly, he probably wouldn't be on TV anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a time we all thought he was gone. He left. We were like, oh, he'll surely be back. And then we got to a point where, like, man, Punk might actually be done. And then he showed back up and had that run in AEW and is killing it in WWE. And, we came out of WrestleMania saying that might be one of the best WrestleMania matches of all time. He's still got it. Like, so he's going to be on my list. The other 2, I am going to go the indies. First one I'll mention, or second one, I guess, would be Maggie Lee. Punk's at the end of his career. Maggie's just at the beginning of hers, Like, trained by Seth Rollins, trained by Primo's number 1 guy up there. I don't think she'd even scratched the surface yet. I hope TNA knows what they have. Don't screw that up. She's killing it in the Elegance brand, but she's got room to move as a singles. Got to throw Maggie on the list. And number 1, we're going the boss of the plains, the 51% 51% motherfucker, 49% son of a bitch. There we go.
Dang, I don't hear Dylan cuss too much. So this is awesome.
It's the one called Manders.
Yeah.
I saw him in person win SCI, the Phoenix City Invitational, in 23, I believe that was. And that was just like watching Ohio State win the Natty or the Eagles win the Super Bowl. I was like jumping up and down pretty much, cheering. Awesome. One of my favorite moments in wrestling. Glad to see he's really taken off over in Europe. Won WXW 16 karat and won their big belt, held it for a while. We're trying to get that Japan. He's going to get that Japan run soon. He just has to. Still killing it on the indies. He's in a spot where I really think it's up to him what he wants to do. If he wants to try becoming a TV wrestler in the U.S., I think that door will open eventually. And if he wants to be the next, like Brody and just take over Europe and Japan, I think that's right there for him. Also, in my opinion, the best lariat on the indies. That's going to be my 3. We're going CM Punk, Maggie Lee, and the one called Manders.
All right, so I'm going to take us home on this. I stayed away from the indies just because I worked too much in it. Didn't want to lean one way or the other, you know what I mean? But, so on my list, it's like a couple staples and then a guy that has really got my attention, like I'm watching here lately. So my top 3, well, these 2, and then there's one of my favorite, but top 3. So the third one is, I've kind of been talking about this guy a lot, man. Like, I feel like he's the next big superstar. I feel like he's the closest thing to The Rock as far as having it all: promos, in-ring work, fan interaction, the lemon pepper steppers, baby. It's Trick, man. And like, he's already like that over with the crowd. Like they already want it. You know what I mean? I think like this U.S. title is just going to be a nice little run for him. And then, we got to get like maybe an IC, and start let him get in there with the big dogs. And like, man, this guy can talk. We love seeing him like I feel like when I'm watching him, I'm watching The Rock. Like, I love see him insult people. I love to see how the crowd interaction of his entrance. I think they still need to add a little something else to his entrance to just make it a little more, but he's got the gift of gab, man. Like, he can just spit, you know what I mean? Like, I love the trick shot finisher. His progression from like NXT to WWE, and then a little bit of that stardom when they gave him the TNA title, you know what I mean? Is almost like a nod of the future, right? You know what I mean? But I think he's the new Rock in a few years, whenever they decide to get him there. Like, I really do think he's that good. The next one, my number 2, this is a guy, y'all gonna say, yeah, you know what I mean? Like I love watching him wrestle. His, mic skills are not that good, I mean, but Andrade, man, I've always been a big Andrade fan. Okay. Like, NXT, like is probably my favorite Andrade era, I guess, you know what I mean? So I like him being in the Don Callis family. He's only 36, so he's still, got a little while to go yet. I love his matches. His promos are a little bit to be desired, like I've talked about. I like this, how he's doing right now with MJF, and they made a t-shirt about it. Like, let's get something like, something like that over, you know what I mean? But I don't know if the pulling the pants off with the trunks is working.
Keep it,
but I mean, he's always kind of like, he's always had awesome matches, right? But I always feel like he's kind of struggled to find a spot, where he's at, you know what I mean? And it seems like he kind of struggles to, on like long-term storylines, but ringing the bell, Andrade's in that, man. Like, I'm watching him, man. Like, and I love like his hybridness of like his, Mexican heritage, and then like he's got some strong style in there, too, but my number 1, no surprise, this guy sits on my desk, all the time. I haven't got to watch him in like over a year. The Bang Bang Gang leader, Jay White. I think April was a year, that he had been out with this broken hand. He's only 33. He's New Japan Triple Crown winner, Grand Slam champion. This guy's global, man. Like I really feel like he is the total package. If I could do anything to Jay White, I'd probably just maybe give him a couple extra inches in height. You know what I mean? To bring him into that, like, perfect. I mean, the Blade Runner is awesome. He's got great looks, charisma, star power. Like I said, he's already known globally. You know what I mean? Just really smooth in the ring. I think he's only been the trios champion in AEW. Does that sound right, Dylan?
Sounds right.
Yeah, I don't think he's won a single. Yeah. But man, like, I am just waiting with bated breath, for some sort of American company, to give him a run. You know what I mean? And maybe I'm the only one that sees it. I don't know. But man, they're just like, I just feel like there's so much there. Like there's so, he's one of those guys, you heard me say it a lot. Ladies love him, guys want to be him. You know what I mean? That dude is smooth. You know what I mean? Like, so just, yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm just like, every time I talk about Jay, I'm like, but like just hasn't had that big like American wrestling company moment. You know what I mean? So, he did awesome, in Wrestle Kingdoms and stuff like that, but
yeah,
it's waiting on, for something over here, but and like, I haven't even heard any type of update on the injury either. So, I don't know, man. So, so there we go. Top threes. It wasn't as hard as, we thought it, would be, maybe like putting the list together, maybe. So Dylan was probably the hardest out of us all. I had to, I think you said 15. I probably crunched down about 5 or 6, you know what I mean? So we can talk about,
That's 15 after you told us to keep it at 3. That wasn't even like me like listing out all my favorites. That was like, it's short.
Yeah.
Shoot, he was 15. Okay.
But in your defense, you have a lot of favorites. So
yeah, I love wrestling. Okay,
so it's kind of interesting to see who those 3 were. But good picks, boys. Let's get on out of here for the dropkick discussion of the week. It's time to go home, Primo. Let's hear from another one of Dylan's favorites. Mine too, man. Love me some Gary J.
You're listening to the Sit Down Marks podcast. And I'm a king of Catterday. And it's Gary fucking J.
I love that. King of Catterday, man. That is perfect. Want to remind everybody to go follow at Sit Down Marks on all those social media platforms out there and head over to sitdownmarks.com and subscribe if you don't mind. A brand new episode of Dreamwave Prelude is available right now. Volume 9 featuring the newest NWA signees, Valor and Grayson, going up against the Milwaukee Vice in our first ever tag team match on Dreamwave Prelude. You can check that out right now at sitdownmarks.com. Dylan, Indy 3 time, man. We got a weekend of wrestling coming up. I think you're going to a few shows here, man. What are the 3 shows everybody's got to check out this weekend?
Yeah, I will be at a couple of these. So there is they're calling it the Rest of Us. It's a wrestling festival for the rest of us up in New England, up at the White Eagle in Worcester, Massachusetts.
Worcester.
We're just going to shout out all the Massachusetts cities. Pro Wrestling Junkies got a really fun card up there. That's going to be live on IWTV on Saturday. That's going to be my number 3 here this week. Number 1 and 2 are kind of interchanged. They're both GCW shows. I'll just put number 2, their Iowa show on Sunday. These are one of the shows I'm going to be at. Mander's challenging for the world title live on Triller TV. But my number 1, we're going to have some fun with GCW back in St. Louis finally. It's been over a year since they've been in town. We got Jamison Shook making his GCW debut against Matt Tremont. Vandal 48 taking on Manders and Shire. Anakin Murphy versus John Wayne Murdoch. Gary J, we just heard from him. He's on the card. Little Sicko's coming to town. It's not going to be a DB show. It's going to be a deathmatch show, not a DB show. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be live on Triller as well on Saturday night. All of those and a lot more detail on my preview this week that should drop tomorrow, Wednesday night. That is at, wow, words are hard, guys. If you're watching it, it is on the screen right here. That is dhagersports.wordpress.com. Should go up tomorrow night. Keep an eye on my socials to know exactly when that comes out.
Want to remind everybody, Dreamwave All-Star Weekend is available. Tickets are available right now at dwtix.com. Uprising 8, After Dark Wrestling, Dreamwave Eve of Destruction Saturday night. All 3 Dreamwave brands in 2 days. Go check it out. Come and see us.
Let's go.
July the 18th just got announced. A guy by the name of the world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock, is coming to Dreamwave. One of the biggest guests we've ever had, man. Excited for that. Tickets available right now. Meet and greets for Ken Shamrock are available at dreamwavewrestling.com. Also, Godfather's going to be there as well, meeting and greeting over at dwtix.com. Either website, get some tickets, come hang out. Next week we'll be back. Oh, here we go. Next week we'll be back talking best commentary teams from all the wrestling promotions. We're going to pick who we think are the best commentary teams. So think about that. Come back to us and next week, and we'll be live Tuesday once again, and we'll have that. We'll be talking about that. The brand new Cheap Pops with Primo is out.
Cheap Pop.
Primo does AEW. Primo talks about going to Dynamite, right, buddy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I detailed my experience of going to AEW Dynamite. Give it a listen. It was really fun. It was my first time going to an AEW event. So I talked about that. I even talked about standing in the rain. So yeah, it was good. Go listen to it. In fact, I had such an easy time with this episode. I had to cut myself off. So if you notice the end, it gets a little quick. It's because I noticed how long I was going. So anyway, good episode. Recapped my AEW night. Really fun stuff. Go check it out.
Primo, while I got you here, man, I want to remind everybody to go to your Etsy store, Darkfire 3D, man. Tell us what we can buy on there.
Well, you can buy basically anything 3D printed. I pretty much sell plant products. I also sell fidgets. I sell germination products. I sell. I recently was commissioned for.
Hear that? Primo made that.
That's right. I fell fidget clickers.
You want to see it right now? Sit down.
I started making light boxes like the one behind me. This is not for sale. These are exclusive. However. Yeah, you check out the store, like you said, Darkfire 3D on Etsy and eBay. Check it out, see if there's something you like. And if you feel like you want something commissioned, you can send me a message on there as well.
Yeah, check it out, man. Primo's always sending me pictures of those 3D printers doing work, man, at all hours. So check it out. Get in on that. Want to remind you, want to talk about, so Dylan Picklesheimer, our driver of the number 33 sit-down marks Dreamwave Prelude Next Gen Chevrolet, is just completed the first third of the season, boys, and he won at Daytona. He's had a bunch of different top 10 victories. So just want to you can check all the sit down Mark's social media. I was usually posting when he's racing there. So I want to give a big shout out to Dylan, who is doing awesome so far in the Racing Revolution series, running those sit down Marks paint schemes. If you're watching right now, sitdownmarks.com, we got the Dreamwave Prelude paint scheme coming up. This is his favorite paint scheme. We get so many compliments from this about this thing, and I think it's the luchador on the side. It just sets it off, man, with the
I think it looks so cool.
Dreamwave logo in the mouth, man. Yeah, this is a awesome looking car here. So he races just about every Wednesday night on a YouTube channel called V Speed. So shout out to Dylan. We'll bring him on probably later on in the season, see how he's doing once the playoffs start. All right, got two last questions here for you, boys. Get you out of here. First of all, are you guys going to watch that money grab shit of a fight Ronda Rousey's going to be in Saturday night on Netflix against Gina Carano?
Well, do I have to go ahead, Dylan?
I won't be watching it live because I will be at GCW. I really want to, though, and not so much the Ronda fight. It's the for me, it's the Nate Diaz Mike Perry fight, and I've watched fights long enough to know it probably will end up not meeting my expectations because that's how these things go.
Yeah, this says money grab all over.
That one, with it being on Netflix, I already have it. Mike Perry, Nate Diaz, that sounds fun. But
yeah, I want. If you already got it, you might as well watch.
Yeah.
So, what are they doing it under boxing for Mike Perry?
MMA.
MMA.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just know that Mike Perry was most recently in BKFC.
Right.
So, anyway. I don't have to pay extra to watch this, right? It's just on Netflix. Oh yeah, I'll watch it then. Yeah, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
How about that Strickland fight? No, moving on.
Yeah, love it. All right, last question, boys. So let me get you out of here on this, man. Just been reading a lot lately about WWE. The fans seem to be looking for alternative wrestling. Ticket prices are high. Booking is questionable. There's too many celebrities on the product, and there's kind of been a call in here lately of maybe TKO just needs to sell. What would you guys feel about if TKO sold? I'm in, but it depends on who it goes to. If it goes back in the wrong hands or somebody that's, it probably make the product worse. But what you guys thinking? Like, would you be on board with a TKO sale?
not to another corporate entity.
Right.
I would rather go back to like the McMahon family.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah,
Like
we're
Shane.
wrapping up. Yeah, we're wrapping up, so I don't want to go long. But man, we always said when Vince was in charge, man, it's going to be so much better when Triple H and Steph are running it. But we didn't know to get to that point, Vince would actually sell, and then, they'd like halfway be running it. So like, in theory, I'm okay with them selling it, but it could also be a lot worse. So like, it would really depend on who bought it. Like Primo said, like, if we started GoFundMe and maybe we get enough money to buy WWE, like, I wouldn't be opposed to that, but I don't need, just some other corporation, like Primo said, running it and doing the exact same thing, Yeah.
Yeah.
you give me TNA vibes.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Into
like
WCW. Yeah.
I mean,
that's
Shane-
what I keep going to.
Shane
Yeah.
would be interesting, but man, like, that means Vince, you know what I mean? Like, so I'm, So, but yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I was reading up on this a lot, and there's just so many things going against them right now. And they don't have that Hogan. They don't have that Stone Cold. They don't have that, Danhausen ain't doing,
I just don't think they care. I don't think they have a finger on the pulse, and I don't think they care. I think they care about green. I think they care about that, the numbers,
bottom line,
bank account. That's all.
And as long as the numbers are still high, they'll keep it. But if they start to dwindle, then maybe they do try to get out of it. But I don't know. It could be worse. It's not great, but it could be worse.
Like the rumors of part of the reason New Day left was them saying that everybody's being asked to take a pay cut. Like, wow. Crazy, man.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, pretty wild times, man. I just sit back and just kind of see what happens. So, all right, boys. Well, that's going to do it for episode number 188 of the Sit Down Marks podcast, the flagship. We return next Tuesday. Make sure you guys tune in, sitdownmarks.com. Thank you guys so much for watching on Facebook and YouTube, and also listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. Been getting a lot of love on Amazon Music lately, man. Everybody doing some downloads. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. I am DB for Dylan and Primo. We are the Sit Down Marks podcast. Keep spreading the good word of wrestling. Do it.